Hey Heart fans, Rev22360 here, and today we're going to talk about why Butch Hartman is such a manipulative, lying, egotistical man, in the Fairly OddParents style. Now, I'd just like to preface that Butch has a habit of taking down videos that oppose or criticize him in any way, so I'm going to alter any evidence that I use in this video to hopefully throw a curveball. Anyways, this video is going to touch on many, if not all, bases surrounding Butch Hartman himself, and we're going to talk about his actual YouTube content, his Oaxis Entertainment Kickstarter, his egotistical nature, and how he feels about criticism. Anywho, without further ado, let's get this video started. When I'm feeling lonely. Butch Hartman is the YouTube channel named after and hosted by Hartman himself, the self-proclaimed creator of your childhood. His videos are mainly comprised of drawing X thing in the quote, Fairly OddParents style, because it's really just him drawing these things in no real specific style. Personally, I don't understand the appeal of speed art videos. It's sorta interesting to see the creative process the first time around, but once you've seen one speed art, you've kinda get the gist of all the others that come from that one person. Honestly, it just comes to a point where I'd rather just see the finished work than actually see the creative process. A way of circumventing this is by either providing commentary over the speed art or to give your thoughts on the art itself or what your drawing is coming from, you know. Butch Hartman himself does do this, and I'd be lying if I said that his creative process wasn't at least a little interesting in some sections, but in others, it's quite predictable and repetitive. When he isn't doing these types of videos, however, he is doing a variety of other videos. Some are pretty good, particularly the ones where he talks about his past experiences in different industries, like how he came up with the design of Crash Bandicoot, or like that one video where he actually made pancake drawings. Like, that's pretty neat. However, others are so mind-numbingly stupid it's honestly baffling, such as video games portrayed in the Fairly OddParents style, including Fortnite. Oh boy! It's likely his team made this video because they were really strapped on ideas and had to get a video out for that specific day. That's kinda what happens when you produce multiple videos a week, after all. And yes, he does have a team. For multiple videos that we've seen, he has an office and a team of people to assist him in his videos, and it's extremely likely that they are the people that are managing his social media presence and his YouTube videos. Which is why they remain at such a high production value. Like, if I could call his videos anything, I'd call it painfully mediocre. It's straight down the middle, okay stuff. It won't rot your brain, but it won't benefit it either. I think a bit more heart needs to be added to the videos, since any studio can release a handful of videos a week, but if the videos remain with a good consistent sense of earnesty and a genuine desire to produce the videos, then I think they will last much longer and make better videos in the long run. Sad as I can be, all by myself in uncharted eyes. On June 18th, 2018, Butch Hartman announced that he created a Kickstarter campaign in order to fund a new entertainment platform curated by him. It was called Oaxis, not to be confused with the iPhone case company that no one cares about. Oaxis is intended to be a platform in which families can enjoy content that is family-friendly and won't expose their children to potentially harmful or questionable content. The inherent problem with this being that it should be the job of the parent to monitor what the child watches, maybe not all the time, but at least regularly. Also, I know for certain that Netflix has its own kids section since it comes automatically with the subscription, and channels like Cartoon Network, Nick, and Disney Channel have only age-appropriate advertising and programming, except when the former two transition into their way more adult-oriented blocks. Not to mention that overall a squeaky clean platform could leave much to be desired, especially in the way of documentaries, which would usually delve into serious, non-family friendly topics such as various criminal cases and wars. Butch addressed this and other issues in a video, but the video was just filled with lingo advertisers use to sell a product with no actual evidence. Words to entice possible investors, as Butch gives no examples on how this family-friendly content could entertain all walks of life and what other people would pitch their ideas to Oaxis. He keeps the project very, very vague, whilst also manipulating his audience into forking over money. How he achieves this is by maliciously using his role as a creator who has created entertainment during times in which his audience has had fond memories. In other words, manipulating them by tugging on their nostalgic heartstrings. This was immensely adamant in the video that he uploaded on the campaign's last day, where he desperately asked his viewers for their money. He is quoted as saying,
"You trusted me with your childhood. Won't you trust me with your future?"
It's honestly shameful the way he uses his previous works to get people to donate to his Kickstarter. It ultimately did work, however, because he did reach his goal. Shortly after this, however, a clip of him giving a speech in a church or whatever resurfaced, in which he proclaimed that his shows had a part of Jesus in them.
Hey Scotty. Jesus, man.
And that cable television is like some sort of gateway for children to see damning things at a young age. He says this like it's cable television's fault and not the fault of the parents. Like, I'm sure that Butch's parents are wonderful people, but they suck at parenting if they let you see that. Like, personally, I grew up on GTA San Andreas and Family Guy, modern Family Guy, and look how actually, that's not the best reasoning. Sorry for stealing that Jim Gaffigan joke, by the way. Butch goes on to list some things that parents cover their children's eyes from, which a few can be easily refuted, such as the sex or murder scene thing. Well, first of all, the only way that would actually pop up is if you were letting your kid watch either an R-rated movie, Game of Thrones, or literally just an X-rated film, straight up. Like, why are you letting your kids watch hentai? Please tell me. He then goes on to pretty much pin the blame on modern entertainment for causing depression and suicides. Like, no, Butch. No, like, those things have existed for eons now. The first known use of the word suicide was back in the 1600s, a tragic thing that has been happening for years at this point. The only reason we hear about it nowadays is because we are finally trying to take mental health more serious than ever before. We now have the ability to have hotlines and give help to these people, and we can actually document these types of things. And the thing is that he doesn't even give examples on why modern media is such a detriment to children's mental state. And then he has the audacity to say that God has given him the assignment to bring forth some sort of much needed change in Oaxis. It's one thing to say that, your faith has helped you through dark times. I do believe it when someone says that, but to say you have been given a sort of task or an objective by God is literally egocentric. That's just the way I can describe it. It's egocentric. He prances around like he's some sort of messiah sent to save Earth when all he's doing is establishing a business. And good for you if you want to do that. I don't have any problems against it, but don't make it out as if you're doing more than just providing a service, unlike if you're a charity, for instance. In fact, it's around this time that he takes a little stab at YouTube. Check it.
You can watch anything. One of the scariest parts is that YouTube has found out recently, if you make a playlist, let's say example of Spider-Man, you just put the word Spider-Man, you want your kids to watch a playlist of Spider-Man, you put them in front of the Spider-Man list, but these kids have figured out how to make softcore pornography with people in Spider-Man suits.
Afterwards, he continues to lecture on about how he feels that this streaming site is going to flourish and become some sort of big multimedia corporation, and whilst I only hope for success for Hartman, I simply know for a fact that it won't get this big. Businesses based on Christianity, I'm afraid, don't get that popular. Just look at Big Idea, the creator of VeggieTales. They are straight up bankrupt right now, despite their rather large presence. The key is to be neutral, secular, not leaning on one side or the other, because doing so may alienate those who aren't part of said group. The only exception to this is Chick-fil-A, now thinking about it. I guess they just really make good chicken. Now, there are some people saying that he's possibly going to try and indoctrinate people with Christian beliefs using this platform, and honestly, I don't see this being the case at all. I think he's just being really passionate about his beliefs and wants to build his streaming platform with that spirit in mind. but not with the more eccentric and radical ideas like homophobia and such. I'm not sure if I can properly articulate it into words, but that's the best I can do. We aren't done yet with this section. We still gotta talk about his actual Kickstarter, mainly the compensation for funding this platform, because the description is pretty much just vague. Really, really vague. For a whopping $5, you get a personalized email sent straight to your inbox. Oh boy, an email I'll probably forget about. For $25, you get an exclusive wallpaper, and as I've seen with artists with Patreons, someone is just going to upload those pictures somewhere else on some other website. Trust me, it happens all the time. You really can't curb it. For $50, you either get Butch Hartman's sketchbook, which is an okay choice if not overpriced, or you just literally get a shout out. Literally just a shout out. For $75, you get a shout out. For $100, you get a random piece of art from his sketchbook. Gee, Butch, thanks. This is so kind. For $250, you get an ink and line art commission from Butch. But, you can only get a Butch Hartman character. And no offense to the dude, but his characters aren't exactly topping any of my favorite character lists anytime soon. Also, you get any of the two previously mentioned rewards. For $500, you get another commission.
Stop doing that!
Oh, but this time it's different. This time you get any character you choose, which may or may not include an OC. So it's basically like any other commission by a normal artist except with a ridiculous markup. To put this in perspective, for $200 you can pay Mr. Nolan Baker to draw you an entire comic book page, colored and shaded. That is less than half of Butch's offerings for more. I get that he's a famous cartoonist and that he doesn't want to spend an entire day on this, but to say it's self-centered would be an understatement. For $1,000, you get art lessons from Butch. It doesn't cost jack squat to learn how to draw. Just ask any artist and they'll tell you. It doesn't take anything except for a little creativity and a passion. It's astounding 20 people actually paid for this. For $5,000, you will be able to get to chat with the man, the myth, the legend himself for only 1 hour. And that's not a lot. Anyways, for $10,000, you get 3 choices. Ooh. Choice 1 is literally having a producer credit. Literally the type of stuff that's like $1 on other Kickstarters. Are you fucking joking? Option 2 is to become an animated character. Oh boy, I mean, again, you could just commission someone to draw you, but I guess 5 people really wanted to be in an O-Axis show. Option numero 3 is that you get an acting role in the show, but it literally has to be greenlit first of all. It has to be approved by O-Axis itself for it to be finalized, and that is really stupid. Oh my god, this Kickstarter is a mess. Where is iDubbbz when you need him, man? Butch Hartman has adamantly gone on record that if you aren't a cartoonist, you aren't allowed to criticize him.
So I look at people that critique as weak. Weak rhymes with critique. So, you know, if you're going to critique like, hey, this is never going to work or whatever, then I just say, you know what, let's see you try it, and we'll see how you do it. So go ahead and critique away, because all it does is make me stronger. If you guys think you're going to knock me down or make me fail, do you know who you're dealing with? Do you really know? Do you have any idea who you're dealing with? What I've been up against already as a father and a husband and somebody who worked in Hollywood for 30 years, and you are going to take me down? What are you kidding? That's kind of a joke, I think. So, good luck. Good. Best of luck, everybody.
I can see why he thinks this, which is something that no one ever discusses. He's an older dude, and it's likely an adult figure taught him that people who don't have experience in the same field as you possibly don't know how to help you, and that they are only trying to bring you down. Of course, we know that's not true, but he doesn't. So really, I guess I just want to say that I hope he comes around eventually, and takes people's criticisms in mind when he's forming Oaxis. Because this is his audience, after all. These are the people who gave him money, and he should try to keep his fans happy. It's really as simple as that. In conclusion, Butch Hartman has said and done a lot of things that are quite objectionable when it comes to his Oaxis streaming service. I personally hope that he comes around to fix up his platform so it's up to his fans' expectations, because his project was really made by his fans. He also has to put more heart into his YouTube and social media presence, as it feels very much like it's produced by a studio that loses the heart that comes from an average Joe YouTuber. Anyways, I was Rev22360, and if you'll excuse me, I'm just gonna go play Saints Row the 3rd again. See ya.